These are the only exercises that you need for mobility, which is your ability to be strong through an entire range of motion. First, we have the overhead squat. To set up the movement, grab a barbell, or if that's too heavy, you can use a plastic pipe or even a broomstick. Stand in a normal squat stance and place your hands outside shoulder width. You can pick the weight up and push it straight above you, or you can put the weight on your back and perform a push press to get the weight up. You want to straighten your arms with your elbows fully extended, and the weight should be resting in the center of your palm. Then you perform the movement like a normal squat, sitting your hips back and bending at the knees to descend to the floor. Throughout the movement, you should keep your arms straight, and at the bottom of the movement, you want the barbell to be aligned over the middle of your foot with your arms slightly behind your head. Also in the bottom position, your knees should be going past your toes and be in line with your feet. Performing the ascent of the squat, the hips and chest should rise at the same time while maintaining the position of the barbell. To finish the lift, you can bring the bar down to the base of your neck and re-rack the weight, or you can bring it to the front, drop it to your hips and then drop the bar to the floor. The overhead squat improves mobility in various parts of the body. Firstly, it improves thoracic mobility, which is mobility in the middle portion of your spine. If you don't have enough thoracic mobility, when performing the movement, it's going to be hard to maintain an upright posture, and it's also going to feel tight and uncomfortable around your core when performing the descent of the movement. The overhead squat also challenges shoulder mobility, as you have to keep the bar aligned in an overhead position during the entire lift. Lastly, the overhead squat improves hip and ankle mobility, which are both key for preventing lower back injuries and knee injuries. The next exercise is good mornings. You're going to take an empty bar and place it on your back at the base of your neck. To start the movement, think about driving your hips backwards and having a slight bend in your knees. Not entirely straight and not bending them too much, but maintaining a slight bend just to feel the tension in the hamstrings. Maintain a straight lower back throughout the movement, and then to finish the movement, think about driving your hips forward and straightening your legs back to the starting position. This is a great exercise for strengthening your lower back and also strengthening your hamstrings and improving mobility, as your hamstrings are placed in a stretched position under tension. When we train the eccentric portion of a movement, which is the lengthening of a muscle, this increases fascicle length, which improves the mobility of the muscle. Good mornings improve mobility at the hip, specifically hip flexion mobility. This exercise can reduce the feeling of tight hamstrings and can also lower the risk of hamstring pulls. An alternative for good mornings, if there's too much pressure on your neck or back, is Romanian deadlifts. It's the same movement where you push your hips backwards and thrust them forwards, except the bar is hanging out in front of you and you're trying to keep it as close to your body as possible, while also maintaining a straight back. Next, we have the ATG split squat or the deep lunge. To perform this movement, you're going to put the bar at the base of your neck on your back. You're going to put 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, and while maintaining an upright posture, you're going to lunge forward, allowing your knees to go over your toes, trying to maintain a straight back leg and trying to keep your heel down of your front foot. In this movement, we're aiming for a full knee bend in the front leg. When you lunge forward, your hamstring should be able to come into contact with your calf. In order to do this, your heel may need to come off the floor to give you the ankle mobility to be able to lunge all the way forward. Eventually, we want to progress to keeping our heel down on the floor while getting that full knee bend. This is a great exercise for strengthening our knees and keeping our knees healthy, and it's also great for improving ankle mobility and hip mobility. This is a great exercise to reverse the effects of excessive sitting, which causes tight hip flexors and some hip flexor pain. This is because when we're sitting, our hip flexors are in a shortened position and relaxed and not active. This causes adaptation in our body and makes our hip flexors progressively weaker and shorter. This exercise is great for the hip flexors as it puts load through the hip flexors at length. As you can see, my back leg is straight and extended behind my body. So as I lunge down, my hip flexors continue to lengthen, and with the additional load, gives them a good stretch and also makes them stronger at longer muscle lengths, which is key for mobility. The deep lunge is also a great exercise for improving ankle mobility, which allows the knees to translate past the toes. So when we bend the front leg, it puts the lower leg muscles on stretch while under load. Over time, the muscles will become more comfortable with being in these stretched positions, which leads to improved ankle mobility. The next exercise is the dumbbell pullover. To start, you're going to lie back on a bench, grab the end of a dumbbell with both hands and extend your arms straight above your chest. Keeping your arms as straight as possible, you're going to lower the dumbbell behind your head. Then once you reach the fully extended position, you're going to return your arms back to the starting position with the dumbbell above your chest. The dumbbell pullover is a great exercise for strengthening and stretching the lats and improving shoulder mobility and stability. This exercise was a key part of my rehabilitation when I dislocated my shoulder. This is because it trains the shoulder in vulnerable positions and is extremely scalable, as you can start with light weight. The next exercise is a pistol squat. To perform this, you lift one leg in the air and hold it in a raised position. Then you squat down by bending at your hips and knees and keeping your body as upright as possible. Then, once you get as low as you can go, push back up to return to the starting position. The pistol squat is a great exercise for strengthening your quadriceps and your glutes. It's also great for improving ankle mobility. When performing a pistol squat, your knees translate past your toes, so if you don't have adequate ankle mobility, your heel is going to come off the floor. Over time, your ankle mobility will improve and you'll feel more comfortable getting into lower positions. Improving ankle mobility will also improve hip mobility, which makes it easier to get into low positions when squatting. A good way to gradually progress this exercise is to perform it from a box. This will help if you don't have enough strength to perform the full movement or find the balance challenging. Over time, as we get stronger and more comfortable with this exercise, we can look to move to lower boxes to give ourselves a greater challenge. Then, once we find these lower heights more comfortable, we can look to perform the movement without any box at all. Next is the 90-90 hip stretch. To perform this, sit on the floor, bend both knees and rotate one leg so your foot is facing outwards and rotate the other leg so your foot is facing inwards. Then you're going to rotate your legs between internal rotation and external rotation while maintaining a 90-degree angle. While performing this movement, you want to try to maintain an upright posture and keep your glutes and hips on the floor while you rotate your hips. This exercise is very effective for increasing hip mobility and reducing hip-related pain. Good hip mobility and the ability to rotate your hips well is not only important for sport and exercise, but it's also important for daily activities such as walking or bending down. That's it for this video. If you found it useful, share it with someone that you think may also find it useful. Thanks for watching, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.